All right, stunning news this weekend in Virginia where the state's Republican Party ruled that both Rick Perry and Newt Gingrich failed to qualify for their March 6th primary. Both men fell short of the 10,000 signatures required for a candidate's name to be on the ballot. The news is particularly troublesome for Mr. Gingrich since he resides in Virginia, and his campaign was not happy about the news, posting a statement on Facebook, quote, "Newt and I agree that the analogy is December 1941. We've experienced an unexpected setback, but we will regroup and refocus with increased determination, commitment, and positive action," unquote. Meanwhile, the Gallup poll, daily tracking poll, out today has Gingrich up 3 points over Mitt Romney nationally. Joining us now from Nashville is John Rowland, a Democratic strategist, and from Los Angeles, Fox News contributor and conservative radio talk show host Tammy Bruce. Tammy, let me start with you. Newt Gingrich, you hear it all over the place. People are slamming Newt, but I think Newt still has a lead, number one nationally if you look at the averages. But there's still time for Newt to turn this whole boat around and head back up the polls. No.
Well, that's the whole point of a primary season, is we want to see these people react under some pressure. Look, what Newt Gingrich is experiencing with the Republicans and with the media is nothing compared to what's going to happen in the general election with Obama and his gang. So this is a really good test. We want to see him come back. Americans love underdogs. We want to see people succeed. And this is what, again, for the attacks that they undergo, for things that are revealed. Remember, whether it's Ron Paul or Newt Gingrich, neither one of them really had been vetted before in a certain way, and Ron Paul is getting the brunt of this now. He may have run a number of times, but never got up to the point where people actually learned about him. That's now happening as well. So that's the entire point. Of course, Gingrich is really getting some of the protest vote for people who don't like Romney, but I think that if he really wants this, he can make it work.
John, we've seen the non-Romney support go from Michelle Bachmann. She jumped to the top. Then it was Rick Perry. Then it was Herman Cain. Then now Ron Paul. Newt Gingrich was in there somewhere as well. Have you ever seen a race where so many have shot up astronomically and then flamed out so quickly?
This has really been like a game of whack-a-mole, where every time someone's head pops up or they get momentum, somebody whacks them back, the news media, or they whack themselves back down. And I would imagine, looking at those polling numbers, that establishment Republicans around the country, there is a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth at the specter of Ron Paul potentially winning Iowa and maybe becoming the Republican nominee.
Tammy, John makes a very good point. There seems to be a difference between the established Republicans and the conservative Republicans. Some would call them Tea Party Republicans or further right Republicans. Sure. Who gets
Everyone
that vote?
Else,
By the way,
yes.
it's Romney with the 25, which could be considered establishment, but there's a lot of votes. 75% still may not be Romney. It could be all congregating behind one candidate. Who is that one?
Well, keep in mind, remember Iowa in 08. Huckabee won, and then you had Romney, and then you had Fred Thompson, and McCain came in fourth. So, you know, you're looking at a variety of different factors. Clearly, Iowa is important. We see how these men and women respond in meeting people on an individual basis, where they actually do have to take a bus to go around. But I'll tell you, Romney just got the George H.W. Bush endorsement. That reinforces the establishment framework, the same as with the Dan Quayle endorsement. The difference, too, with the whack-a-mole analogy, it's great, is that for the first time the American people are really having a say, and we're saying enough of business as usual. We want answers. We're going to ask hard questions, Tammy, and we want you people to perform. Are we saying that?
Because it looks, I mean, there are those on the right who would say that the established Republican is business as usual.
Well, of course, clearly, this is why how we vote matters, and this is why, though, the real, I think the Internet's driving it to some degree, certainly in talk radio. While we do want to know about Romney and the shenanigans with the electronic records. We do want Gingrich to have to answer urban myths, ultimately, about his personal life, and we want people to know about Ron Paul's history as well, and people are finding out.
All right, John, last thought.
Well, if you look at Mitt Romney's campaign, he's run the mother of all conventional campaigns, and now we're in the season of conventional campaigning where TV ads and things like that can have a maximum impact. And his attacks on Newt Gingrich have obviously had an impact, but the problem is when you are in a crowded primary and you attack another candidate, you can hit them and hit yourself. And I think his attacks on Newt have defined him, but they've also created opportunities for Ron Paul and some of the other candidates.
Guys, we're going to have to leave it there. Tammy and John, thank you very much.